8 reasons to stop openly hating white people. Hey, it's Prince of Queens, and I was chatting with my relentlessly PC mother over Thanksgiving about racism and stuff, as we are apt to do with each other. She has long ago conceded that it was definitely a bad idea to push the narrative that only white people can be quote unquote racist in America, even though she used to believe in the race power plus prejudices equals racism definition herself. However, she said that one thing that maybe was lacking in my videos was the acknowledgement of why various communities that are not white would resent white people. And she makes a valid point. Maybe I haven't talked about that enough. I mean, in the USA, white people are the majority, while many Native Americans live in reservations. And black people live in ghettos, neither of which are nice places. School funding in public schools often goes to schools that are mostly white, or even within specific schools, the funding goes to programs that are mostly white. Being annoyed by these circumstances seems like a very obvious thing to me. But if I were to go on and on about it too much, that would turn my channel into a bit more of a social justice type of channel than I am really comfortable with. And obviously, that's not what my audience wants either. They want anti-SJW listicles, skits, and the creepy doll with MAC paint glasses drinking from a bottle anytime I mention something that frustrates me or I think is kind of funny. That said, I'm going to try to not get wasted while I list the reasons why people should stop openly hating white people. Reason number 1 is that it's just kind of a stupid strategy to antagonize the majority of people no matter what type of minority you are. As a gay guy in high school, for example, I realized freshman year that I would be best to get along with the straight people, and for whatever reason, the senior girl who was generally thought of to be, the cutest girl in school thought that I was cool and became my friend. So immediately every straight guy had to be nice to me, and I was nice to them in return. High school wasn't so bad. That said, I have come across some really embarrassingly foolish black people, especially who went out of their way to not only make demands of white people, but then would also be completely rude and unrealistic about achieving these demands. This one black woman that I was arguing with online, for example, was super upset about white people having dreadlocks. I was actually rather nice about it to her and said that I personally wouldn't necessarily encourage white people to have dreadlocks, but that her hostility wouldn't inspire white people to want to listen to her. Her response was something along the lines of, "Do you think I care what a bunch of privileged white people think of me? They can all go to hell. I am not your well-behaved Negro." Okay, so you spent the better portion of this conversation demanding that white people listen to you and go so far as to change their hairstyles to suit your fancy, and now you're saying that you don't care what they think of you. Do you see where you're losing your audience? She soon blocked me. Anyhow, if white people are the cause of all of her problems, like she acts, she should bother caring what white people think of her probably. So presumably they'd stop doing all those bad things that she can't stand, like having dreadlocks, right? Don't be like her. Reason number 2 to stop openly hating white people is that you can use it to your advantage in your career and social life. Seriously, right now is such an opportune moment to be a black or Native American person who is chill with white people and doesn't go on and on about privilege or whatever. Think about it. Even if you secretly hate white people deep down, you can probably find ways of using this fake niceness to your advantage because we are at a period in culture where white people are still generally falling all over themselves to prove they aren't racist, even within the anti-SJW type movement. So all you have to do is just work the token privilege to your advantage for a while and then throw any white person who did you wrong under the bus once you have the opportunity. It's a good strategy. Just pretend to be their friend because they want to have black friends. And then if you think they suck, screw them once you get ahead. Reason number 3 to stop openly hating white people is that ultimately it will enrich your own family, community, and demographic most effectively that way. Uniting against common enemies like big bank corruption, crony capitalism, and other such forces, like the Occupy movement and Sanders represented, these things could potentially not just help the entire lower class, but it will also help people of various skin colors build strong, meaningful, and hopefully long lasting bonds with white people who ultimately do still have a lot of power and can help your community. These people will likely want to help with specific issues within non-white communities once they are made aware of these issues. Don't just throw out accusations that white people are all racist because they didn't do one specific thing to help your community. Find common ground and form allying relationships. Legitimate ones, and then be reasonable and go from there. Don't act like any white person owes you anything because nobody owes you shit. These people are your allies. They are not your bitch. Reason number 4 to stop blaming white people for all of your problems is that it will make you miserable. If English is your first or even second language, chances are you live in a place where white people are the majority. And if you live in a neighborhood where there aren't any white people, chances are there's at least a small part of you that wants to move out of that neighborhood. So unless you're cool with white people, you're kind of going to be a bit unhappy. It's as simple as that. Reason number 5 to stop openly hating white people is that a lot of people need to learn to quit while they are ahead. I mean, seriously, we had a black president elected for 2 terms and he was ridiculously popular. There are countless celebrities, journalists, and authors who constantly check their white privilege or whatever, and yet it seems like some people want more from white people as a whole. And some people seem to still be asking for more, even after Trump was elected. What else are you expecting from white people? Seriously, do you not realize that things might get worse for you and your vision of this white guilt-ridden future really quick? Reason number 6 to stop openly hating white people is that you might not even know what any white person really thinks anymore. And perhaps it would just enrich your life to start learning about this huge amount of people that you've not just been deliberately ignoring and blocking on social media, but also intimidating into silence with your relentless attacks on the skin color and hair that they were born with. You can learn a lot from people you might even disagree with, and it's worth it to do that, if anything, just so that you know how to argue better. And apparently a lot of you need help arguing because you just took a bit of a beating this month. Reason number 7 to cut out the whitey bashing is that it's simply going out of style. I have a lot of younger members of my audience, and I speak about these issues a lot. And let me tell you, younger people who are black, white, Asian, Native American, and Latino are all sick and tired of the relentless identity politic nonsense, and in particular, the constant public hatred of white people. A lot of people talk about it. A lot of people who are black. A lot of people who are probably Native American. People who say that they're, not white. They tell me they hate it too. All the time. When I talk to young people, it seems like a lot of them really miss indie rock music with drum kits and guitars, which, yeah, people say black people invented rock and roll, but that was in like the 50s, and it's kind of not the same music anymore. I think a lot of them are talking about what we could say is white music. It sounds like a lot of young people are nostalgic for white culture, which has largely been out of the mainstream for the past 4 years, unless you count Justin Bieber and Lady Gaga. It's very likely that we'll have a rock revival in the coming years, similar to that of what went on during the early 2000s. And you won't be cool if you don't listen to any rock bands. The 8th and final reason to stop being racist against white people is that if the true racists really do come out to play as a response to the Black Lives Matter and Trump protests, these racist white people, these legitimately racist white people, could do a lot of damage. If white people are scared that black people are going to start attacking them, they'll come with their guns. They have guns. They don't live where you live, but they have guns and they know how to shoot them. I've seen some ridiculous tweets from people who want a race war, black people who want a race war because of Trump getting elected, saying that people of color would easily win against white people. Like, you're just going to get all the Asian people to attack white people because Asian people are so stupid and easily manipulated by black people? Yeah, that'll happen. Perhaps you should do a little bit of research into who the majority of legal gun owners are in America, and keep in mind that people who own their guns legally are the ones that have good marksmanship. They're the people that know how to aim and how to shoot. And they live in the country. And they'll come for you. That's not what you want to happen. That's not what anyone wants to happen. No one wants a race war besides idiots. All right, drop me a comment and stay tuned.